What up?
Hello.
Fuck up. No, but welcome in, guys. This is that's horrible. I love it.
Bro, is your
Welcome in, guys. We're like
hold on. Hold
You're
on.
glitching.
You're glitching, girl.
Yeah.
no, but it's not glitching on the.
It's like go and then you're like backtrack.
Oh no, hold on.
Is it?
Nah,
Mm.
it's glitchy as fuck, bro.
No.
Why is it doing
Okay, I
that?
might have to get probably gonna live on TikTok as well.
Okay.
Let me just send this one here, guys. Go ahead, check out. We're gonna be on the yellow, on the red one. Go check out live on YouTube. We're gonna check it out, guys. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we can do lives. I think it's gonna be live over there. Let me just post it.
Why is it doing that? All right.
Are you talking? Because I can't hear you.
Okay.
All right, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like played back. I don't know how to explain it. It's not like a line.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. How about
Well,
now?
I can
A
hear
little
it.
bit better. I can hear it, but it's just like played back. I don't know how to explain it. Like
Is it lagging?
Talk, and
yeah.
then you start moving after,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Um. Okay. How about now?
Yeah. I can hear it. It's fine for me.
Okay. Cool.
I think so.
Okay.
All
Is it
right.
fine? All right.
All right. Let's see here. All right, guys.
Here.
Okay. Let me just. I'm trying to do this live stream over here. Um. Give me a second, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's see here. Let me just connect this. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see here. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
You're good.
Let's get here. Okay.
Am I talking too?
No, you're good. No, I'm just trying to do this over here. There's nothing here. All right. Let's see here. How come it shows that we are live over here, but it doesn't show it here?
Does it show it on TikTok?
You know what? I think we are over here. Let me just um share.
Mm.
I got you guys. I got you guys. We're good. We're good.
Oh, you see what
Uh,
they're saying in TikTok live?
Yeah,
no,
I just saw.
I took it off,
Okay.
but I don't know what she's saying.
What
All
was
right.
it?
They were just saying that she was lagging on the in the live.
Mhm.
Mhm. Let's see here. I'm sorry about this, guys.
No,
They
you're
can
fine.
watch it on YouTube, right?
That's what I'm
Oh
trying to figure.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the cards I just pulled.
Moving away from bullshit. I know that's right.
Ooh.
Yes, breakthroughs. Two of Cups. Oh, I love that. Emotional balance and support.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm getting good, bro. I think I'm so confident I'm just gonna get the cards with no words. These have words. I
Ooh.
don't know if you can see it. Yeah, these are cute. And then I saw on TikTok Shop, they have a lot more holographic ones. Like they came out with new ones. So I'm probably gonna get a couple more like these, but they're so fucking pretty, bro. So
I
pretty.
know I saw some with like words, and I'm thinking about those because even though I know what they what they mean, and this is probably my tisms, um like I'll see it and then I know, but I still have to look at the book and just kind
There
of
we
like
go.
reassure. And
Right.
I used to do that when I used to pass meds too. Like I would like read the thing. You're supposed to do it like
Yes.
2 or 3 times, but I would do it like 5 times.
Yeah,
And
I would
it's,
too sometimes.
it's something that like I always do. So I need words.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I like
Here
the
it is.
words, bro.
There is the streaming. All right,
Hey
guys.
guys,
Welcome
Hello.
in. Welcome in, guys. I'm Chio, your host.
Divinely Diamond.
Liza Minnelli.
Linda.
So, welcome into today's going to be the second part of episode 2, which we were talking about twin flames on the first part. We left off with what if, what if we never said it out loud, right? What if we, what if, what if everything was everything that was happening is really probably just for us in the room? What if nobody knew what was going on in our mind? Like, does it validate it or does it not? So today we're actually going to talk about, everybody talks about all the meeting part, right? When you get to know who your soulmate is, but nobody talks about what happens after, like the empty part. What happens when they're gone? What happens when they're still when you're not with them, because twin flames can go both ways, right? They can either bring a side of you that is going to be a challenging side because it's a mirror of yourself, or they're gonna or you can overcome that and allow you to grow together, right? You both overcome that and allow you guys we it allows us to grow together. So but what happens when it doesn't work out, when we don't fix our differences, right?
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about that. What if it felt familiar? The first part, we're gonna, if it felt like home, familiar because from a past life, but like a
I
dynamic,
can't even think of an answer for that.
That's actually really good.
right?
Yeah, I did that. I don't know. What do you think, Liza? Let's start with you.
Um, Personally, I feel like that can happen, but when I think about like my like my whole thing with my twin flame, it's like wait, I sit back and I was like, wait, what are some patterns that I've noticed? I mean, this person's traits felt really familiar, and especially at a really young age. One because it's like we're alike, like we have some of the same values, same traits. Even the way we handle or our coping mechanisms, I would say, are very similar. But to think about like patterns, I'm like, I wonder what of those patterns can be, especially with
Maybe,
the. Oh, sorry.
maybe. No, no, you're fine. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just thinking while you were talking, maybe it has to do with the fact that like maybe we enter the connection not knowing until we get like in contact with that person, and then they start not even like saying it out loud to you like, oh, you've got this going on, this, let me help you. It's more of kind of self realizing it when you're in connection. Maybe it's something to where like you don't know, like say you've got like a anxious attachment problem or something, and you come into the connection, that person recognizes it instantly because that's your twin flame. They know how you operate already, right? They point it out, and then maybe it's something to where you don't know, you're not aware of, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't know that that was a thing for me. Thanks, and then that's where it kind of, for me, I think if the person is truly home, they work with you. I don't think it's a situation where like, well, I guess it also depends on the contract. Like when you sign the contract before you're born, what you guys really agree to. What if you are a twin flame that's just supposed to show me certain things and then be on your way? Or it could be something to where we're going to be in union forever. Like, I think it just maybe depends on the contract. I don't think
Like the
about
life
it.
contract, right? Before we
Yeah.
do you
No,
have
and that does
any
make
thoughts
a
on
lot of
that?
sense.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, and that does make a lot of sense, especially with like in this current time period. I feel like for sure like it was more of like let me show you of
Mhm.
like who
Yeah.
you need to become and like discover yourself as well. Because I feel like I
Yeah.
never really was in touch like fully with myself until recently.
What if? What do you think, Linda? Do you have any thoughts on that? No. All right. Well, what if, guys? And I'm just throwing it out here because this is also another thought, right? What if we're pulled hardest towards something that our earliest wiring already knows, like even when what it knows hurts, right? What if someone that's a little unavailable can feel more like the one rather than someone who's just stays? Like familiarity and safe are not the same thing, right?
Right.
Because we had mentioned, I think Liza mentioned last time, how we sometimes can we sometimes stay in a bad relationship because we're supposed to suffer, we're supposed to sacrifice in order for us to show that we love somebody, for example.
Yeah.
So what if it's something that is just like it reminds you of a family member? So your system or your wiring system automatically calls that home because you know it, and then you end up in a dysfunctional relationship because we end up mirroring our parents or the environment we were in, right?
Yep. Yep.
What do you guys think about that?
Mm.
I
You guys
think
are all
in
like,
this, I
dang.
know you hitting it today.
I'm
I don't
like
know.
You're like, why are you doing this to me, man?
I know.
I'm like you confuse me more.
But I'm not feeling good, so I'm trying to think. Okay. I would say so it comes back to self, I feel like. I feel like when you are one to kind of recognize that you have certain patterns that came from childhood, uh we all see our parents as like the first role models of what things are supposed to be like, right? And it doesn't, I know for all of us it's not like that. But I think for me, it took for me to kind of go through myself, like my self-love journey. My spiritual awakenings were kind of, they were basically considered self-love journeys. I've been on my own since my son's dad passed away. And I've done a lot of growth, a lot of learning, self-reflection within myself to where it was just like, I don't know how to explain it. The more the spiritual awakenings would happen, I would get more, like I said, sensitive to the veil. I was more getting more intuitive. So the more I kept going within, the more I would realize I have certain gifts I've never realized I had. I have certain dynamics that I think play roles in perfect scenarios when they weren't the entire time. Like a lot of exposing happened. And that's where I kind of learned like, okay, certain things that I saw growing up were not normal. Um, that it comes back to where you're kind of looking at from you. So when you come into this connection, it's always good to kind of go in already having that self-love thought process, or like the self, you've already done the work basically. I always recommend that. Like that's why anytime you like people break up or they go through things, stay by yourself for a little bit. Why do people jump into relationships like back to back to back? Stay by yourself, even if it takes some years. Cause you know what? Even even a year wasn't enough for me to heal. Like I needed to go within for years for me to get to where I'm at now. So imagine the inner work that you can get before you meet this person. Then you can tell, okay, and you are already by that point, you had already things figured out and fixed to where you're not able to repeat those cycles and patterns in the new relationship.
100%, dude, because I am
100%.
guilty. I am
Yeah,
guilty of being those people that jumped into relationships a little too quick. And you know what ended up happening? Self sabotage.
exactly, bro. Exactly.
Because you end up worse than how you started.
Yeah.
You end up a little bit more lost in who am I, you know? And the thing is that somewhere we learn that closeness costs us something, right? Whether it leaves us learning that it's about the chase, or it's about choosing one step at a time. It's everything's a freaking choice, to be honest.
It
And I
is.
think that
Yeah.
with twin flames, trauma bond is a thing because you're seeing
Mm,
yourself, right? The twin flame is a reflection of yourself, all the things that it's going to start showing you, all the things that you dislike about you and challenge
mm,
you. It's a mirror, right? So when you trauma bond and you have a twin flame, if you both are not in the same going the same direction, that's where I feel like it becomes a challenge, and why most people have the perception or the idea that twin flames are not meant to be, and that you're challenging, and it's the fire within because it's going to bring out all the challenging parts of you.
right.
um and unfortunately that's a real thing. I guess, like, for guys, for example, it's it's more of like a an exchange of pride.
I never thought about it like that.
Hmm. What do you guys think?
I have a
Hmm.
question.
Hmm.
Do you think that men are like more capable of being the avoidant in the relationship than women? Like, would you think it's a gender thing?
No.
Personally, were you asking me?
Yeah.
Personally, I think that men are really misunderstood. Men have their ways of expressing their emotions, and because we as female are very emotional, we expect men to express themselves the same way that we do. But men have like these bigger shoes to fill. They're already born. I like to say that men are born with their work boots on because they're already born having all these expectations, falling on them. And one of those things is, if you cry, you're not a man. Everything falls down. Is like, if you have emotions, you can't men can't even, I feel like some men can't express themselves with their friends because of that. And I don't think that they're avoidant. I think they're very straight to the point, but we just want it decorated in another term or in another tone or in another way, in some way whatsoever, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Um, I don't think necessarily. Well, I don't think that being an avoidant falls like in any type of like gender stereotype or anything like that.
Hmm.
I've noticed a lot of females being avoidant, even when it comes not only like dynamics of relationship, like romantic relationship, but like parental wise and um, like I don't know. This is based on like my personal experience, but um, it also depends on the culture because yes, like in the society, it's like yes, men are told like don't express yourself because you're seen as weak. But
Yeah.
in some cultures, and then I also feel like in some, depending on like, like your your parents' way of thinking as well. Even as like the firstborn like daughter, even just being the firstborn, being the firstborn daughter, it's like we are
Ah,
also told to not be emotional, not this and that. Like I don't know if you guys seen this. It made me think of this movie, Spanglish, where the mom's like one tear only, just one tear, and like you're not allowed to cry basically after that.
yeah,
So
that's so
I don't
true.
know.
I think it is a culture thing. I don't want to make the conversation about culture, but I see what you're talking about. Yeah, there's certain things, and I feel like women as well, when they are brought up specifically in Hispanic families, say like we're, off by ourselves with a child, you're supposed to tough it out. You know what I'm saying? Like you're supposed to just deal with it and tough it out or whatever, and then that's it. But it's not that easy. It's not like that for a lot of people. People deal with things a lot different. I think with men too, they have that stereotype where it's like you can't have any emotions, or I'm gonna think you're weak. You can't lead. You can't do nothing for me. That's terrible. Like consider that men, I mean, they have a lot of pressure already. Wouldn't you want them to have the right mental capacity already? The mental health has to be there, especially for the man.
Mhm.
Like you said, they just go through too much as a man already in general. So it's just easier to have that outlet, regardless. And then then they turn around and say, oh, men are killing themselves, or suicide rates are up. I saw that on Instagram, I think. Suicide rates are going up because men are not talking about it. They're not allowed to. It's terrible.
Yeah. I think it's one of the primary issues of domestic violence, to be honest. The fact that you can't express
Totally.
your emotions. What do you think, Linda? Do you have any thoughts on
Um, I agree.
that?
As
Yeah.
someone who lived it, I agree.
and and it's crazy because if you look at it both ways, familiarity or familiarity isn't really a red flag. Isn't automatically going to be a red flag. It's sometimes just resonance, right? Where it's whether it's you have to sit with it and say and question yourself, is this something that I lived and that I'm comfortable with, or is it something that I'm just really vibing with, is it something that I recognize? Because past life and soul recognition, it pretty much gives the language of the nervous system, like it makes it romanticizes. I think that's what Liza used last time. It
Yeah.
romanticizes the nervous system event, which makes the pool feel like it was chosen by the stars instead of it was shaped by your past events, right? Which actually
Right.
there's a research by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, which is the attachment work on how the ancients and the avoidant pairing is really the chaser and the runner at the same time, without the mystical quote on it, right?
Yeah.
We're pretty much recreating the emotional environment that we were raised in, because it's the one that we're familiar with, the one that we can read, and it because we're familiar with it, it's a recognition of pattern, not necessarily the person. So think about it. Did they feel like home, or is it like the house that you grew up in? When does missing them? Because there's also this other theory, right, where you go through the whole moment of detaching yourself, right? What happens when you miss them? Like, what does it do in your body when it's purging, or when it's like the ascension symptoms? Like when what is this, whatever spiritual name you want to call it, for the withdrawal of not being with this person.
I think I've
Well,
experienced it the withdrawal while I was with the person. So once I was no longer with this person, it didn't do anything to me. Um,
Oh,
and
maybe it's her energy that does it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Mm, mm.
You
I'm
guys are
literally
like in
thinking.
a. What I mean with this is like the after pain. Like what happens when you end up not working out? What is the cutoff or the unpredictable reward when when the wanting to be with this person is harder right before it fades away, right before, let's say for example, when it's, let's say, the 3 a.m. spike that isn't the universe testing you, it's mainly the system just purging itself, like,
Uh,
you know, the body ache, the pain, the truth of everything else.
well, are you talking about like your twin flame or just any relationship in general that has been illicit? Because to me, correct me if I'm wrong, because to me when I think of twin flame, it's not necessarily like, oh, you're a forever person because like you said, like they might be teaching you a lesson. But um but when I compare that, I don't think of like, how do I explain it? I don't feel that they are, because it's different. It's like hmm, it's a very different feeling than any like other relationships you've had.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time was like different. Struggle is differentiating that. And it's gonna sound really bad, and I don't mean this in a cruel way or anything, but when it comes to romantic relationships, I have not physically been one with my twin flame. Like my exes, even my gonna be ex-husband, I wouldn't say is one.
Mm, that makes sense.
You know what's crazy? I think so the twin flame dynamics, I think they differ. I think like it's unique for every situation, every person, every union. Um, but I kind of look at it like that too. Like it's either someone who's supposed to expose what you're doing, what you're not doing of or lacking or whatever, and then y'all part ways, or you guys end up friends or however. Or it can be a situation where they're like in union. When you guys are in union, you feel like this person is already going to be, I guess what kind of gives you that validation is if that person, like, say you guys are in union, how you know it's the one is if it's someone who's basically what you prayed for, who's, if they listen, authentic, like there are all these things, right? And once you find those qualities in someone and it's consistent, it's something to where you don't force it. They're naturally like that already. I feel like that is automatic. I are You guys are meant to be a union, even if it's not forever. Like you guys are supposed to be like show each other something. And I think depends on the lesson, what you guys want to get out of it, even with going back to the soul contracts. Is this someone I picked for a union? Or is this you really don't really know until you're in it for real, I think. And you're just living it day by day, and then you're kind of just going through the motions, and then over time, maybe you just kind of like, but I feel like I kind of instantly already know, and I don't know at the same time. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not gonna put my what's the word? Like all my eggs in one basket. I'm still gonna live my life. I'm still gonna be me. I'm still gonna focus on myself, but I'm going with the flow. Like if I were to come into the union with that person and things were like, perfectly fine and things were great, I'm gonna assume that's just my person. I think you can tell. I think you can tell if someone's meant to be there for a lesson or not.
Okay.
It for sure. I mean,
Only
like,
through my experience.
no,
No,
and
it
I
makes
would say
sense.
like my
Mm,
experience. I would have to agree with you, just in the sense that like we're not currently in this in this how do I say without complicating? In this
It's complicated.
in
So,
this 3D or this dimension, we're not together, but it's like I know we are like I know how I like I don't know, I know what they've showed me throughout the years, and it's different when how do I ooh um that's why I asked that question last time when I was like, do you see them as like someone that what was the question? It was like something regarding them being your equal. Like, is that a criteria?
oh
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's why I asked that because
Mhm.
to me, um, that's how I feel. The best way I can explain it, it's like my equal.
My equal, right? Like you feel they're your equal.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I don't
You'll
feel like
know.
I'm worshiping them. I don't feel like it feels neutral
Yeah, it
Right.
feels that's the perfect word. It feels mutual.
in
And
my experience.
Yeah.
do you have any
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Um, I did, and it just went away. Okay. Um, yeah, like I think when, like in my experience, like I knew that the person wasn't like forever. So I was like, okay, like so then what is the lesson? And it just kept going into like the same situations, and then but once I realized what my lesson was, it was like, okay, that was my lesson, and I can let go. And it was hard because, like I said, I was like still with the person, but they didn't even notice that, like when I just let go.
Yeah.
And then by the time they realized it, it was hilarious.
And I want to add on that actually because you guys were both talking about, and just so you guys know, I mean, she's not talking about me. Are you talking about me? Oh,
No.
she's not talking
Eh.
about me because I see Liza's like face. She's like,
No, no, it's because I was reading the chat. I swear to God, that's why I was like, because I was
okay.
like a
Oh.
message. No, no, no. I was like, who's watching? Because I sent it out. So I was like,
Oh
who's
no,
watching? And then it was like, hello, and I was like, oh, it's Arlen. Hello. Not like, no, I wasn't like, no, 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 no. I
no,
wasn't
no,
being
no,
like, oh, it's about Chia.
nah,
Haha. No,
I
no,
don't know.
no. I didn't even
I,
think it was about you from the beginning.
no, no, no. I was just kidding. What I meant to ask when like missing what missing them felt like, and I love that you guys gave both sides of it because I mean it can go both ways. It can go like, and I want to clarify because I personally would sometimes get confused with which one was the strongest, a soulmate or a twin flame, right?
Mm.
In reality, like the separation is literally this, right? Um, a soulmate is the lesser love, right?
Hmm.
It's peace that gets like demoted to just soulmate, right? Comfortable,
Yeah.
but not really your destiny. Now, the mirror means you're the same. They reflect what is unhealed within you so that you do your work. So we're mirrors, and then this is the misread conception. We're mirrors so the friction proves we're one. No, it flips every single fight into evidence and every incompatibility into a spiritual assignment. The mirror is supposed to send you back to yourself, but then we misread it, and we use pretty much both sides, right? We either choose, okay, there's always going to be one that says, okay, I got to fix this because I really want to be with this person, and then there's this other person that's like, no, like I have to chase them and I have to undermine myself because of this, and the other person is usually like trying to get them to see what is here, and that's where like that friction builds, right?
Yeah.
Because the person, or let's say for example, sometimes distance doesn't mean that it's an ending,
Mm-mm.
because it's a stage with a reunion that is promised on the other side, if you think about it. The breakup
Right.
is not complete. A person isn't really grieving, they're waiting, right? And they sometimes wait for years because there's no words in that relationship for there to be an ending for it. And that's like the ambiguous loss trap, right? Where we put a spiritual seal on it, and the vocabulary pretty much deletes the exit. And this is going to like past terms, right? The twin flame in the 1970s was pretty much put into this ascension teaching where it wasn't even about romance. It was about a soulmate versus a twin flame, ranking its essential or its essentiality when the internet was barely created. So people are
Mm.
organizing their whole lives around a framework that is probably younger than our parents, believing that it's older than Rome. So think about it. All of this, it converts pain into proof and peace into a consolidation price. So what we do is, in guys, for example, when you feel it in your body, because when you're missing them, were you missing them or were you missing the not knowing? Because
Hmm.
it can go into like the purging. Let's say if it doesn't work out and you think it's the end and everything is over, but maybe you guys work things out and maybe you had to separate, maybe you had to feel that pain so that you can grow, because that's the type of pain that's going to make you want to work on yourself, right?
Yeah.
So what happens in guys, they turn this into, it goes both ways, right? A female can go and be really emotional about it and a guy can call it nothing, but he can still have vocabularies for it. He gets drowned, he drowns himself in the gym, he ends up drinking, he ends up being a player, or he ends up just withdrawing. But it's still consuming because you still want to focus on something else, right? And there's actually a theory where Eisenberg, Naomi Eisenberg, back in 2003, she found that social rejection lights up the brain the same way physical pain does.
Mm.
And your
That's very
body
interesting.
isn't being dramatic. It's actually the, it's pretty much, it's registering it as an actual injury. And whenever, let's say, for example, there's Ronald Levant, who pretty much talked about how boys get trained to pretty much not name any feelings at all. They have no vocabulary for the pain that they're feeling, so they end up being consumed in rage. They end up being consumed in addiction.
Yeah.
So think about it. What if it doesn't work out because you're the one that's not doing the work?
It won't work out because you're not doing the work. That's how I
Yeah.
feel. I feel like I'm always gonna say this, like, please go to self-love before you get into a relationship, because that, right, she's saying it's gonna happen, it's gonna fall. It's just gonna be like, damn, I didn't do none of this. And this was supposed to be like a little perfect thing for me. And now I can't even match up to that person. I have to keep up. Why do that to yourself when you can just, when you have the time to just do that self-love work, inner work? Yeah.
We're tethered to pretty much thinking that we need this closure, right? And that somebody is going to give you this closure.
Right.
The taboo thing, guys, is that men are made believe that they are going to be, they're told to open up and then they're punished for it, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're
Right?
weak. Terrible.
Exactly. Silence becomes the safest thing in the room, in the house, and everywhere. And what's really happening is that culture is what holds that door shut for them. And then they ask, well, why did this man do this? And
But
this goes both ways, you know,
Yeah.
because females, we end up sometimes giving away our body because we feel like that's the only way that we can have some sort of acknowledgement, some sort of
Validation.
validation, exactly.
Mm.
you know what do you
Seeking love
guys
in
think?
all it's well, it's seeking love in all the wrong places. Um, for women, I think that's kind of the case when I see that happen. And then with men, it's like what you said. It's like they're not given an outlet to vibe. They're not given an outlet to even express themselves, mainly because I would say the father figure is taught that same thing. You have to show no emotions, and that it's like a generational pattern. That, and it has to end. I know out of generation ended. Everything ended. My son does the type of life I knew. Like he has my self regulation, express your emotions, and um there's certain people in my family who are like manly men, and they're like, let me take him to the forest, like let's do this and let's do that. And granted, yeah, I agree he should do some stuff like that to get that aggression out or whatever the case. There's other ways. Me personally, I don't want my son around guns, so that's not gonna fly right now. But there's other ways to express yourself, and my son's gonna learn that. He's gonna learn how to be a gentleman. He's gonna learn how to self-regulate. He's gonna be in tune with his emotions. He's going to be a provider. He's going to be a leader. I'm instilling all of these things in him because I didn't get that growing up. And I wasn't shown that growing up until I became a parent myself. So once I became a parent, that's when losing my son's dad and becoming a parent at the same time, a first time parent, that was a double edged sword that it just went hand in hand with my healing. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's crazy because like no matter how you see it, I'm a lesbian. No, I'm a but I still agree that you still need a male figure in your life. Why? Because a man can teach you how to be strong without using rage,
Right. The healthier
diplomacy.
way. Yep.
Like there was somebody that I saw in like this hearing where all these like where people get the whole ice raids and all these things, and there was a man, or there was a kid who was speaking on behalf of his dad. um and he said, my dad is somebody that he, when he has an issue with someone, he's like, he has people here vouching for him that were his enemies, and all he did was say, let's sit down and have a cup of coffee and see why we don't like each other.
Mm. Why not do it like that?
Exactly. And but we are so worried about what it costs us, right? Pretty much what we're being handed is the fact that we feel like we deserve somebody to like, because we ended up undermining ourselves, we want the other person to do the same, right?
Yeah.
And it's not gonna,
What do you mean by
like,
that?
whenever you're the chaser and things end, you feel like you want that closure because you feel like, well, because I deserve it, I freaking went through all this pain. But is it really that? Because sometimes, um what are you gonna do when I want to ask this straight up to you
Mhm.
girls. Let's say that
Yeah.
your soulmate, or your twin flame, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
finally says what you're waiting for them to say. What happens when they say it, or what happens when they never say it? What do you do with that? How do you even know what is? Let's say a man actually said the real thing to you. Let's say he says, I don't know, let's say Diamond, he asks you, or your twin flame comes to you and says all the things that you want him to say. Is it going to land as strength, or is it going to land as, what is up with this guy?
Definitely not the second part. I think in my case, it's gonna be like a relief. Like, okay, I wasn't crazy. I feel the same way. That's if he were to tell me like what I wanted to hear. But if he completely went silent, like forever, never really came back around and didn't tell me nothing, I think I've already gotten to the point where I've already have gone so long without communication. It's not gonna make or break me. Yes, it's gonna be like damn. But am I gonna like dwell on it? No. Am I gonna be in my feelings about it? Maybe for a little bit, but it's because I'm human. And at the end of the day, that self-love, it comes back in, and I'm like, I'm gonna be good either way. I've been good this entire time. And I've had my own thing going on. Someone, whether it's a twin flame, a soulmate, whoever, anybody really, it can go down to friendships, relationships, people in my family. I am so secure and whole with myself. It's not going to make or break me. I'm still going to live my life. You know what I'm saying? That's so important to be like that, because if you end up going a different direction, you're going to crash out.
Right. It's like we end up getting a grip of what's unfinished, like a stronger grip rather than what's already finished. And that's why we end up staying in this open loop, right?
Yeah.
Because if you really think about it, right now you said we're human, right? Wanting to understand is human.
Yeah.
So we end up trapping ourselves in making our peace, or making our peace depend on the fact that there's a participation from the other party, and understanding that the silence from the other party doesn't mean you have to wait on it.
Right. Don't wait on it, please.
Exactly. And I know I'm talking a lot, but I do want to. I love bringing out facts, guys, because this isn't just our personal experiences. This is like things that we went through, and personally, in my experience, I went through it, and then I researched it, and then bam, I was right. So there's actually several research documents that talk about this. Like, there's one that talks about there's Pauline Boss, who talks about the ambiguous loss, where grief with no clear ending is probably the hardest one, because it means that there's nothing to close, and the closure has to be your own. You have to give it to yourself, right?
Exactly.
And then there's also, when we talk about men, there's Nobi Way's work with, where she works with many children, right? And she found out that many of them have deep secret sharing best friends up until their teen years. And that closeness gets recorded as a weakness or as unmanly. And then they let it go. And by that time, he's grown. And many men really don't have a way to practice with their words. And then here we are, and this applies both ways, because there's females who are born without the mother side, you know, and they're born with just a dad who doesn't express himself so much. So then she's caught up in the same thing. It goes both
Yeah.
ways. I feel like there shouldn't be a gender in saying like, "What do you think that man or female react like this?" No, we all are
Right.
humans,
Yeah.
and we all have feelings, and there shouldn't be an undermining. It's just that society has made it, like our culture itself has made it seem like there's something wrong when you have feelings.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
It exactly, and it doesn't matter what gender. Like, because it's like if a woman reacts to something, it's too emotional. If a man does, it's like you're not man enough. Like, what are you
Mm-mm.
doing? Like, it's expected of a woman, but yet it's criticized, and then of a man, it's you're not supposed to. And if they do, it's like you're still criticized. So it's just
Either way, you'll get
yeah.
criticized.
Right. And in the end, it's like a feeling, regardless, right? It's a
Yeah.
feeling. It's the feeling of needing somebody, or the feeling of having that strong connection, but there's so much friction that you don't understand why. And then you really want it to work, but then it doesn't work. And it's a pull back and forth. But what about, what about you? Like, who watches you? Like, when you stop being the one, because there's going to be a time when you stop being the chaser,
Hmm.
right? A connection can change us so much, and it's not a problem, guys, but it's like what we do with it. Did we allow it to consume us, because in society we romanticize losing yourself in someone. I do anything for love. But I won't do.
Literally.
I don't remember that song, but yeah. And it's like self erasure is sold as like, oof, the most intense.
Empowering.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's like, I don't know, bro, because what you're doing is you're holding this whole perception of this perfect relationship, and in it, when it's gone, who are you? What do you like? Who were you before you met them? And what do you say, or what version exists when you finally have a chance to say anything?
You know
And then
what?
you're thinking about the twin flame. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, no, you're fine. Go ahead.
Oh no, and I'm saying like you're talking about the twin flame, like when you say that part.
I'm sorry?
And you're talking about the twin flame when you're saying that part.
Yeah, because the twin flame is going to be. So get this, guys. I want you guys to see, because the honest of this thing is that a twin flame is explained more like fire. A soulmate is peace, right? But a twin flame is
Mhm.
going to bring out your green hairs because you're dealing with yourself. And if you think about it, guys, the things that we hate or dislike about, hate is a strong word, but I really, really, really don't like, no, but the things that we don't like about other people are usually the things that we dislike and cringe over within ourselves.
Literal
That's why
reflection.
they're the mirror. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just two people trained differently. One was taught to follow, the other one was taught to outrun it or to be running, right? And there's nobody that's winning.
Exactly. Just
That's
sitting
why
there.
it's so intense. That's why the twin flame is so fucking intense, because
I
it's
need
gonna
to know.
it's the freaking dark side, like
Yes.
it's gonna get everything out of you because you're doing it with yourself, baby
Yeah.
bird. You
I
know?
gotta share something. So my medium, Katrina, I love her. Gonna get a reading from her very soon. But I found her when my son's dad passed away. And I told you this off camera. Like I was already raised into a Christian based household. Things had to go, God, it was very, I was sheltered. I was all these things. And when I met my son's dad, so prior to him, I had a couple of relationships where they were just terrible, toxic, whatever. And then he ended up being the same thing. I was dating the same energy in different people in these relationships. And with my son's dad, I was with him, I want to say 4.5 years now. Yeah, it was 4.5 years. And that relationship was toxic as well. I'm going to be very transparent with my son as well, because there was good times and there was definitely bad times. A lot of experiences that domestic violence, and like a lot of sleeping in the car with him, like he was homeless at one point. I was one of those girls that would literally go through the ringer with my man. Like I was
Ride or
that
die.
ride or die. Hell yeah, I was that. I had a home to go to, but I chose to stay with this man in his car. Well, it was my car. There was a lot of things that I did that were so stupid, putting things in my name, financial, just running my money, giving him my money. I'm telling you, it was really one of those toxic relationships where I gave him everything. I was living my life through him. And I glorify him and I say all these things when he's gone now, because I want people to remember the good things about him. But there was also, I'm not going to be sugarcoating the bad neither. So, with that being said, I bring up my medium because when he passed away, I had my readings with her. She told me that my son's dad was a soulmate, but he was a karmic soulmate. And that was a literal, like, okay, relationship. Okay, this is what you've been dealing with this entire time. And then you ask, not to, I don't know if I want to say that out loud, but there's certain people in my family that I considered like men. Um the whole time it was not the case. So I was already wanting my partner to be a certain somebody because I thought that was the right way to be, when it was really no, that's no, I don't want a 50-50 guy. I don't want to, I don't want these things going on. So yeah, she told me that was my soulmate, that I was gonna be in love one day. It's gonna come years from now, but I will find love again. This person's gonna be my person. And when the twin flame thing started happening, I didn't realize this person. Um, I didn't label him my twin flame until honestly this year, because I've always had a thing for him, and I always kind of like checked on the side, whatever, all these years. But it was something about this year, specifically around like March, April. I told you about that, where things got really intense with the situation, where it was getting to where it is now. I'd get dreams, nudges, experiences, like in all these downloads. It just right when May or March, I'm sorry, March happened. That's when all these things started trickling down. And I remember last year around this time in May, I decided that I wanted to move out of my apartment. I wanted to get a new home. I wanted to be ready for love. I want all these things that I've been not experiencing. I'm ready for it. And now that the timeline I'm in it, I'm physically in it now. I'm in my new home. I'm in my new job. I'm in all these new things. The one thing that's missing is that person. But I'm not going to say he's missing, because I am whole, but he's just an addition. He could be an addition to my fucking life. So you know what I'm saying? He could be that. But he could. That's where I kind of started remembering her message. I'm like, is he the one that she told me that I'm finding love in, especially while so that's what I'm saying. Either way it goes, like if I find out, I'll find out. If I don't, I don't. Either way, I'm gonna be fine. You know what I'm saying? But it
Yeah,
took me all this time to build my self-love to where I'm okay. I'm content either way. That's where it comes down to.
I love that you said that like you were having the same relationships in different people, because that's one of the things that I always talk about, how we're in a loop, right? And
Exactly.
each time you learn something about yourself, and in my experience, I felt like I was dating myself in different personalities, in different time, like in different versions of myself. Like the different stages that I was in, and it's like it was a challenge, until I until it broke me. I mean, it really did, because that's when I was like, um, it was like it was the loss. It's usually going to be a loss, right?
Hmm.
It was the loss. It wasn't somebody that passed away. It was just the divorce itself. The fact that um, you noticed yourself in how you participating and how you participated in the undoing of, and seeing yourself and knowing that, like, don't, um if you didn't want to start all over again, it's like the failure part, like realizing,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I have a stable place. And then, now don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean, and I want to reiterate on this, because my mom and I were having a conversation about this, how she said, you're always talking about the past, like if you're still stuck in it, like you're still hurting for it. No, I am grateful for the past, which is
Mm,
different. I know myself that I'm not stuck in the past, but I'm not stupid. I know for
right.
a fact that had it not been for any of those experiences, I would not be sitting here right now with you guys. I would have never met Linda. I would
Mm,
never have had any of the wisdom and knowledge and people that I have in my life now. And honestly, like I would struggle all over again, like,
yes. Yes.
and I was probably like the worst side of the relationships all the time. I was the one that was getting in debt. I was the and it's like, now whenever I see myself in a situation that is like hard, I have to go back to those places and I have to talk about them, because I have to remind myself, hey, do you remember how you thought you weren't going to make it out of this one? And you
Yeah.
did?
Yeah.
That's
That's
right.
how I,
If you're
bro,
cocky,
that's
it's got
how
everything but me popping, got face, I got body, you name it, I can. You got to bring your Megan the Stallion now.
that's
Um,
how I feel about the whole thing. I was just kind of like, damn, I forgot what you were talking about now.
you see,
What
because
did
we
you
were
just say?
vibing. We were talking
I
about how we
know.
need to be grateful for our experiences
Oh
because
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what shaped us.
So like me, like the version of me 6 years ago wouldn't have agreed with that. I would have been like,
Me
oh
neither.
my God, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want it like this. This was not supposed to happen. We were gonna get married. We were gonna have a family more. You know what I'm saying? Like this was gonna be it. And I felt at the time that God, I wasn't mad at God. I never was mad at him. But I was just like, why? Why would you rip this away from me and my son, especially because he's just born. Well, my son was a year when he passed away. He had just turned a year a month
It's a
before.
struggle, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was really for a few years, the first few years, I was like, oh, my family, I didn't have it. Now I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't trade it. I would go through it again. You know what I'm saying? Because it brought me to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And it's gonna lead me to where I'm meant to be going forward. Not to say that his death is like the best thing that happened to me. What happened was he died. I grieved over it, and I ended up having a spiritual awakening, rebirth, all these things in one, and it's just continued ever since.
And and I'm sorry that do you guys that her and I over here talking a lot, but
Sorry.
I
You
the
guys are good.
the
Yeah.
ADHD does not let me before I forget.
I'm tuned in. I'm like,
Tuned in.
But I love that you mentioned the fact about how your how death is not that it's the best thing, but like death, honestly, we need to stop being scared of it because the moment that you accept death does not choose. Let me tell you, it does not care about what you're wearing. It doesn't care about how
Right.
much money you got in the bank account. And it comes to you many times in your lifetime. And it doesn't necessarily mean the physical. She teaches us how to plant, how to harvest. Why? Because she's going to teach you to remove all the old nonsense so that you can make room for all the new things and plant new seeds because you are the soil, you are the root, and you are the seed. She
Mm.
teaches you, she's the one that is with you during that dark road of the death of ego, right? And I love it because on our next episode, I really want to talk about Santa Muerte. And I think that is
yeah,
one of the journeys that we really need to discuss because that is a journey that turns us whether into our true self or into the version of us that is fearful of God and not necessarily owning the fact that you are God,
Mm.
that you are part of God. And I love it because the more we talk, it's like all of us are the same person in different timelines, in different versions. And
I've
it's like,
said that.
yeah. And it's like, you understand, like, these are soulmates, because these are parts of you that are in other bodies, in other timelines. And when it comes to twin flames, you have you're meeting your match,
Hmm.
which is
Hmm.
yourself.
Hmm.
And that's the whole purpose in life, to find your true self, because the moment that you see yourself in person, you start to have self-compassion.
Oh, 1,000. I agree with that.
And that's when you stop seeing faces and you start seeing energies.
Energy.
That's when you
Yeah.
start seeing yourself and understanding that you need to be patient with yourself, that you can't be rushing into everything, and that
Hmm.
the worst pain, that when something falls down so hard, like in your situation, for example, and I don't want to undermine any situation because your pain is as great as mine, and it doesn't have to be a human that I lost. It could be, and I'm not trying to undermine because society is going to think, oh my gosh, he's comparing him. But I lost a pet before the beginning of this. And let me tell you, that changed my life.
Hmm.
It was the beginning of this whole journey and it sealed the ending of a chapter, you know? So the loss, it's different universes, but we are in a society that we are based on ranking, right? Oh, well, this hurts more, so you have more
Yeah.
important. No, you're your own self. Find your own self. Don't lose yourself in other people because the whole purpose is for you to want, like you mentioned right now, you want your son to have all these principles. And I think it's amazing. And in order for you to be able to teach him, you can't sit him down and tell him, hey, this is how it's going to be. You have to do it yourself
Right. You got to teach
so
them.
that he
Yeah.
sees it and he says, oh, my mama always did this, you know? And
Yep.
that's like one of the things that is hard for us as like for myself, my with my mom, like I never thought I was going to talk about my dad loving my dad. Like me and my dad were arch nemesis, you know. We were like, you know, freaking enemies. And now it's like the man is there more often than he has ever been now that he passed away. And I have like the best, and people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, you're delusional." No, I'm not delusional because I've had conversations with him. And I can feel when he's around and things. It's like just be more aligned with yourself, and people are going to discredit it because they haven't experienced it. That's why I'm 100%
Yeah.
only talk about your experience. We're always consumed by assumptions,
Or what we
opinions,
read.
or what we read and think that, oh, that's the word. Bird is the word. Yes, it is, but not what you read. It's like let it mean whatever it means to you
Yeah.
because you
It's
lived it,
like
not because you read it somewhere.
what Liza said. She was saying just that last week about romanticizing and the like seeing things on the internet, and they can change your perception on things and make you think a certain way if you let it.
What do you guys think? We
Yes,
Simon
please
and I were
talk.
like over here like serious, and you guys are like, hmm.
No, I just like I don't know. I got into like a deep dive because I'm like I don't really want to like go into too much detail about my personal like thing with my twin flame, but I'm like oh my gosh like like I wonder if this is like a very unique situation um just due to the fact that they're not like here currently in this dimension
Mhm.
and like we never how do I say this we never talked in person but I did feel a connection like you know what I mean like that connection never left like it
Yeah.
started I want to say it started at like I don't know I was really young and it's like it's still you know like so it's like I know what I know but it's like dang, I wonder if anybody would know what to call it or put into words. I don't know.
It's like the energy. You're feeling that energy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Energy.
Do you think, and it's I agree with you on that, Liza, because it's more than like more than what words can say, you know? Like for example, we were talking about how Linda and I met and we didn't even have any type of connection, but I it's just like downloads that you get, you know?
Right. You just instantly knew.
And then whenever you end up talking, it's like no way. Which I want to bring up. I don't know if it's been a thing for you guys, but electricity has been flickering all over the place, which happens commonly whenever, apparently, it happens commonly when you're going through this because in my experience, it seems like your energy is just all over the place, you know? And there's been a lot of, I feel like this is for another episode, but I want to talk about the experience with lightnings. And I want to talk about Santa Muerte because I think we went a little bit longer this time. But do you guys
Yeah.
have anything else to add? Because I love this topic. I love that we mentioned Santa Muerte. And it seems like we started with the romanticizing of like the partner, but you see how it ends up being with you.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It starts with
Yeah.
you, ends with you.
Um,
That's crazy.
you know how like you said, you think like, but I'm supposed to be with this person, and you're like aferrado or whatever, right? Like I understand it, but like in my like in my experience, I guess, it was like I was so I can't find the word, but I was so like no, like I knew it wasn't gonna work out, but I wasn't ready to end it because I was like, no, like I haven't learned shit. Like what do I need to learn? Like like I know it's like I knew I wasn't forever, but I knew that I hadn't learned what I needed to learn and then like I guess that's how I got my closure. Like I didn't need to explain anything or whatever. It was like
Yeah.
I got my
Some
own closure, peace with myself, and
Mhm.
goodbye.
sometimes you don't need that closure. Sometimes it's just it is what it is. That's
I
another
Exactly.
get
thing
my
I
whole
learned.
closure.
Yeah.
Just
You're not
even
always
the
gonna get that
mental health.
closure.
Hmm.
And I'll never ask for it either.
Right.
And I was the person that needed that closure. I wanted to hear what, because I didn't think myself being like worth the words, if that makes sense. Worth the time to say something that I wanted to hear because I knew that that's how much I could love, if that makes sense. Um, and sometimes, to be honest, like I end up in a situation where I would end up in a situation where I'm like, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm supposed to be, you know? And
Hmm.
that's where we end up in that little loop of like, we're back over here facing or changing faces, same situations, same timeline, same expiration time frame, and everything else. Like even the time frame itself is like so similar, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
And you're just waiting for it because you already know what's next. But I love all these topics. If you guys are listening, we definitely want to know more about what you guys want to hear. We're gonna start doing lives on TikTok, and we want to start doing it more on a on
YouTube.
an area or yeah, YouTube, a place where we can all interact more.
Mhm.
Um, and if you guys check it out, we're actually all gonna be hosting on TikTok, so just check
Yeah.
out the info so you guys can get our socials, and we're
My
gonna be
social.
our socials, not the socials numbers, but like
Not the
our
social
social
security.
media. Um, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh shit!" If you guys want that, go for it. No, I'm kidding. Um, but it's like go for it, guys, because we're gonna be doing readings. We're gonna be doing um, more one-on-one. Like it's not gonna be as it's gonna be a little bit more engaging because we want you guys. We want to hear more from you guys. We want to know what you guys want to see. We want to know what you guys don't want to see and what you guys have questions about.
And even if it's like, okay, I'm not gonna speak for any of these ladies, but personally for me, like, because I like to gap about this stuff. If you want to talk about it more, like separately, message me. Like, I'm down the app. I'm down the app.
Yes,
For
a
sure.
100%. I'm
I
open
also
to.
want to throw out really quick. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I
No,
wanted
no,
to
no. You
throw
go for it.
out. So I am an emotional healing coach, spiritual wellness coach, and I will be considered a practitioner by next year. So I would say I'm pretty valid with my advice if anyone wants to have emotional healing conversations, or if they need. Okay, another thing I'm doing in my program is doula. I'm going to be a certified doula. I'm here to talk about grief. So if anyone wants to go through emotional healing techniques, talk about grief, or just need a little more spiritual insight, that's what I'm here for as well.
100%. Um, I also do one-on-one coachings, and I'm a little bit more different. That's why we have variety here.
Yeah. Yes.
It's whoever you vibe with, you know, because you have to have options. I am somebody who's considered pretty much the entrance to all the other worlds. Um, I can direct you to. I personally do my personal coachings where I had I've already had two consultations where these two are like probably the ones that kind of like saw from one of them was like the beginning, and then the other one, um, somebody that's coming out of therapy, you know, somebody that's coming out
Nice.
of like the blueprint, but has that third eye, but thinks that the therapy is the way that it should be,
Yeah.
you know. And then also Liza was one of them too. I don't know if you wanna hype your girl up.
I
Production.
definitely will. I would have to say that a lot of the input and because it's not okay, how do I explain it? Because it's not like in therapy where it's like, tell me your problems and then
Yeah, I'm not
um
certified, guys. I don't do any of that
well
nonsense. For that, you
it's
want to
it
go with my girl Diamond.
more like in it's not like, oh, like let me diagnose you, like let me try to fix you. It's more like,
Right.
let's acknowledge what's going on first, kind of thing. Or like let's put words like into what's going on with you that you don't have words for. Or like, it's like basically it's more like um helping with self-reflecting and also kind of getting your like stuff straightened out, I would have to say. Um
Yes.
it it was really helpful. I literally went from napping all day, and I'm not just like making this up or like trying to be like, oh my god, yes, like no. I went from napping all day to being feeling self pity, hating like old actions I was doing, but then repeating the pattern, and then going to Chio's life being like, hi, um, like no. So that a little bit like cut off. I'm in a really good place, and even like just with the simple like conversations, it led to like me opening up more with myself and like learning myself and like treating myself better. Basically getting that self love or starting to get that self love.
Yeah, kind of like organizing where you want to go from it. That's why I say like I'm the entrance, because I feel like it gives you guys a clarity on what you want to learn more about next. Like, for
100%.
example, let's say you would have told me I want to know more about doula. Well, I can point you to Diamond, because I know for a fact that she's more into that. Like, she has more knowledge on it.
Mhm.
Or let's say you want to learn more about I don't know, energies or rituals, then I'm gonna direct you to Linda, because I know for a fact that Linda knows how to do that. Or oracle reading. Or let's say you're a 40-year-old woman that needs to do some sort of healing. Well, I'm gonna direct you to my homegirl Christina, because I know that she only deals with 40-year-old women. But in order for you to figure out what you want from yourself, you have to listen to yourself first. You have to have not just an app that's going to answer you whatever. Like, you have to have a human listen to you, and you listen to yourself and what you're saying, because you have all the answers.
Yes.
That's what I'm
We're
like. Go ahead.
we're not here to coddle. Just want to point that out. We're here to, like Liza said, we're here to show you. We want you to see your reflection. You have the floor. It's just about us being a space of, hey, I'm here to listen, a safe space. We're here to be a safe space, and there's no judgment
Because we've all
at
been
all.
there, baby bird. We have
Exactly.
all been there. If you spot it, you got it. That's what my girl Virgo said. If you spot it, you got it, guys. So it's 100%, guys. It's 100% that, like, all the things you dislike in other people are going to be things that you probably can't sit with about yourself. And like Diamond said, we're not going to coddle. I have straight up said stop being a bitch, because it's honestly, that's the tone that I needed to hear it. Like, I'm going to listen, but I'm going to tell you straight up what you need to hear, and sometimes you need to hear it like that.
Yes.
Not in any disrespectful way, but it's like, okay, I'm gonna let you drown in your self pity for a little bit, but then I'm gonna tell you, hey, what are we doing? Let's move forward, because this isn't getting us anywhere.
Exactly.
And
You
I
can
think
feel
that's
it, but don't stay in that shit.
exactly. Do not think. Don't suppress your emotions. Know that you have control over them, because you're never gonna feel like them again. You're never gonna feel like that again,
Yeah.
ever. It's like that first time doobie that you smoke or whatever. You're never gonna get that. So enjoy that feeling, deal with it, and then move on. it sounds easier said than done, but as a borderline personality disorder person, I'm gonna tell you, for it being something that has assisted suicide or whatever, I can honestly tell you that if you work on yourself, it is something that you can live with. It's not gonna control you.
Mhm.
A mental disability is more of an ability in my eyes, because that's a challenge accepted.
I think so
Oh yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you guys. Anything else you guys want to add? Once again, we're gonna say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Till next
Yes,
time.
we're gonna post the socials, social medias, and hit Diamond if you guys don't hit her, but like hit her up if you guys want to
Okay.
practice more with like spiritual grief healing, you know, like anything doula work, any type of grief healing. She's like working on this right now. She's gonna be certified for it. I personally just have my certification of life. um
Hey, that's a, you know what? That's enough of certification if you think
Hell
about
yeah.
it. Yeah.
and and Linda here, I mean, I don't speak for her right now, but I'm gonna tell you guys, when Linda opens up, you guys are gonna be amazed at the things that she has to say, because you would not expect somebody so graceful and timeless as Linda to have
Aw.
Thanks,
experienced
Chris.
all these things that she has gone through. And let me tell you, she doesn't give herself enough credit as she should, because you guys have no idea. There's things that I have not been able to listen to 100% because I can't, you know. Um, but I really appreciate you guys. Liza is amazing, guys. You guys need to go check her out. She is a vibe. Especially if you guys like cats.
You're like,
We all love cats.
I mean, cats, they protect your body when you're astral projecting and whatnot, guys.
They are
oh
very
yeah.
high in energy. They're we can get into that later, but like I heard something about
She's
Egyptian.
like, we're getting into another one. But yes,
Yeah.
guys, 1 hour and 22 minutes to clock it out, guys. Thank you so much. We are gonna end
Bye.
this one. Have a good night, guys.